U.S. Route 189 is a spur of U.S. Route 89. It currently runs for 322 miles from Provo, Utah at Interstate 15 to Jackson, Wyoming. The highway was not part of the original 1926 U.S. highway system. The highway was created in the 1930s, absorbing former U.S. Route 530 and a portion of U.S. Route 30S. The portion through Provo Canyon has been designated the Provo Canyon Scenic Byway by the state of Utah. Route description: Utah US 189 begins in Provo where it is known as University Avenue, referring to Brigham Young University. The highway then winds up Provo Canyon, passing by Deer Creek Reservoir and paralleling the route of the Heber Creeper. The portion in Provo Canyon is designated the Provo Canyon Scenic Byway by the state legislature. The highway exits Provo Canyon near Heber City, Utah. At Heber City, US 189 meets U.S. Route 40. The Utah Department of Transportation has placed an end sign at the junction of US 40 in Heber City. However, there is a documented connection to US 189 in Wyoming via US 40 and I-80. Prior to the construction of the Jordanelle Reservoir, the route was signed past the junction at Heber City. The highway continued north concurrent with the former alignment of US 40 that is now underwater. US 40 and 189 separated at Hailstone, also now under the lake. US 189 emerged from the lake shore along the route now signed State Route 32. State Route 32 and former US 189 join I-80 in Wanship. Prior to the completion of Interstate 80 in eastern Utah, US 189 formed the main streets of Colville and other communities now bypassed by I-80. The Utah section of US 189 is defined in Utah Code Annotated Section 724.124. The Utah Code does not contain the concurrent alignment along US 40 and I-80, but the concurrent portion is included in Utah Department of Transportation maps of the area. Wyoming. US 189 enters Wyoming from the Westco route with Interstate 80. The routes separate east of Evanston, where US 189 proceeds north to the Jackson Hole area. At Hobback Junction, south of Jackson, US 189 rejoins its parent route, US 89. History: there was a US 189 in the initial 1926 plan for U.S. highways, which ran from Nephi to Pigeon Hollow Junction. This route is currently the eastern half of State Route 132. In 1938, a second iteration of US 189 was created using several state routes. The portion from Provo to Heber City in Utah was numbered State Route 7. Although signed US 189 starting in 1938, this road retained the State Route 7 designation until 1977. US 189 replaced US 530, designated in 1926, between the modern junctions of I-80 with US 40 at Silver Creek Junction and I-84 at Echo. Between Echo and Evanston, Wyoming, US 189 was originally concurrent with US 30 South. As portions of I-80 were complete, US 189 was moved from the old US 30 South alignment to the freeway alignment. Prior to the construction of the Jordanelle Reservoir, the US 189 designation alternated between two routes between Hailstone and Wanship. For most of this era, US 189 was routed along what is now State Route 32 via Commerce. However, there are some years the official Utah highway map shows the road through Commerce designated as US 189 alternate, with the main route of US 189 concurrent with the routes of US 40 and what is now I-80. In 1985, the Utah Department of Transportation began plans to relocate U.S.40 and U.S.189 to prepare for the construction of the Jordanelle Reservoir. As late as 1989, UDOT still intended move US-189 to an alignment on the northern shore of the proposed reservoir. On January 18, 1990, the Federal Highway Administration sent a letter to UDOT recommending that US-189 not be moved to this new alignment. The stated reason was this new routing would result in traveling 15 miles out of direction. AASHTO agreed, and authorized a change of plan for the route of US-189 to run concurrent with US-40. UDOT agreed, and this new road was instead signed as extension of State Route 248. The portion of the former route of US-189 not submerged by the new leg was designated State Route 32 after months of negotiations with county officials. Major intersections